In June 2022, that split announcement crashed into the digital space like a flawlessly manipulated PR stunt. Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey, allegedly devastated, juggling different goals, still in love, wishing each other the best, sterile, sleek, almost suspiciously perfect, as if manufactured to keep everyone from asking the real questions. Because that narrative was total fiction. Not even close. What Michael B. Jordan supposedly discovered before he vanished essentially appends the entire plot. Lori Harvey was not merely caught up in Diddy's orbit by some fluke. The industry chatter claims she was actually playing a specific part. And even while dating Michael B. Jordan, she remained secretly intertwined with Diddy behind the curtains. That is not a standard split over scheduling or commitment issues. That is a man realizing the partner he trusted was entangled in something he refused to be associated with. Fast forward nearly 4 years and Michael B. Jordan remains silent. But sources close to him insist he possesses evidence, messages, records, perhaps even tapes, and yet he still refuses to speak. Meanwhile, the Steve Harvey family values facade operates as if none of this ever occurred. Stop right there. Steve Harvey constructed a massive brand coaching men on how to respect women. Bestsellers, radio segments, a syndicated talk show where he acts as the enlightened, veteran mentor everyone follows. Back in January 2021, he actually declared on his platform that he liked Michael B. Jordan and endorsed him. Then the split happens and suddenly it is Team Lori Harvey 1000%. Loyal father, certainly. But there is one detail he has never mentioned. Not once. Not in any sit-down. Not on any outlet. Not a single syllable regarding Diddy. Not the federal indictments. Not the raids. Nothing about how his own stepdaughter was photographed in 2019 at a table in Italy with Diddy's hand placed on her midsection while Steve Harvey sat right there grinning and eating pasta. That picture is authentic. Anyone can find it. And Steve Harvey has never dared to explain why he was present, why he kept quiet then, or why he is still speechless now. That silence continues breeding more suspicion. So, what exactly is Michael B. Jordan keeping hidden away? Elite industry circles have been buzzing for months. The whispers are becoming deafening. What Michael B. Jordan supposedly uncovered was not merely a former fling between Lori Harvey and Diddy. The word is it never actually finished, that she remained attached in the shadows, that she kept meeting Diddy even after things with Michael B. Jordan went public, got heavy, and turned future-focused. When Michael B. Jordan realized the truth, it was not just resentment. Reports suggest he walked away carrying receipts. People inside the drama claim he preserved everything. Timelines that completely contradict the official story, messages that reveal a darker reality. Some even suggest audio tapes exist. That is not just petty shade from a bitter ex-boyfriend. That is a powerhouse actor who has remained quiet for years while potentially holding intel that could shatter a very expensive public reputation. Now analyze the timing. March 2026, Michael B. Jordan secures Best Actor for Sinners. Absolute peak. Maximum exposure. He stands on that podium honoring the legends who paved the way, specifically Will Smith, looking exactly like the icon everyone anticipated he would become. But even through the cheering, the trophies, and the prestige, one massive question still lingers. It keeps getting louder. Every sit-down he does now feels like a pressure cooker. Every red carpet walk. Every journalist who might stop being polite and just demand the truth. What do you know? Why have you stayed silent? That question is not fading out. Michael B. Jordan built his empire for years, and now that very same light is making his silence impossible to maintain. Now the mess expands in a way nobody can stop. Diddy is rotting in a Brooklyn jail cell right now, battling heavy federal charges linked to racketeering and other disgusting crimes. His court date was locked for May 2025, and in the world of federal law, that is a ticking time bomb, not a theory. When a titan finds himself in that position with his life on the line, the loyalty evaporates instantly. If the feds demand cooperation, the entire industry layout shifts. Federal cases thrive on snitches trading secrets for freedom. That is just how the game is played. If the dam breaks, there is no controlling which A-listers get named or what dark chapters get read aloud. The very man once rumored to hold the ultimate leverage could become the government's star witness against everyone else. This brings the spotlight right back to Michael B. Jordan, because no matter how deep he buries his head, this scandal is too massive to stay contained. So, what exactly did he discover about Lori Harvey's alleged involvement? Insider whispers claim she was not just an accidental bystander at those parties. The rumor mill suggests she played a calculated role in those social settings, acting as the bridge that made people feel safe before the energy shifted. When Michael B. Jordan found out, it reportedly was not just hearsay or drama. The streets say he found the receipts, messages and timelines that proved his reality was a lie, including details suggesting a messy overlap while they were still a couple. That is the moment the script flips. Because if even a fraction of that is verified, we are no longer talking about a sad breakup. We are talking about a criminal association. Suddenly, the image of Steve Harvey transforms from the world's favorite girl dad to a man under fire for staying quiet while his stepdaughter was allegedly linked to the underworld. Notice what Steve Harvey has refused to do. He has not denied a single allegation. He has not addressed that infamous Italy photo. He has never explained why he looked so comfortable sharing a meal while Diddy, then nearly 50, was cozying up to his 22-year-old stepdaughter. Not a word on the federal case, not a whisper about the raids, and zero comments on the flood of victims speaking out against Diddy's empire. That is not a PR blunder or a busy schedule. That is a strategic choice. And the longer he stays mute, the more we have to ask. What is he actually protecting? Enter Jaguar Wright for a moment. Love her or hate her, one specific claim she made refuses to die. She insisted the Steve Harvey family knew exactly what was going on. That statement carries weight because of the visuals we already have. You do not sit at that table in Italy, you do not grin in those pictures, and you do not sanction that connection without knowing the vibe, only to go radio silent for years while the documentaries drop and the victims' voices get louder. Steve Harvey built a kingdom on family feud, faith, and moral authority. But a brand like that is a house of cards once the trust is gone. And right now, that foundation is cracking as the world notices the deafening silence coming from his camp. Now consider Michael B. Jordan's leverage in this mess. He is not some thirsty influencer chasing a headline. He is an elite, top-tier superstar at his absolute zenith with a global reach. The public respects Michael B. Jordan. They view him as a man of integrity. But his refusal to talk is being interpreted in two very different ways. Either he is being a high-road gentleman, or people are starting to wonder if he is staying quiet because the truth is too dangerous to touch. The fans will eventually decide which version feels real. Because if you hold proof of actual harm and stay silent while more victims come forward, the privacy excuse starts to feel like a cover-up. At what point does being a class act turn into being an accomplice to the silence? Michael B. Jordan has dodged the question for years, and every safe interview he does only makes the public more suspicious. Now look at the cold, hard facts. In March 2024, the feds turned Diddy's mansions upside down, helicopters circling, sons and zip ties, and every piece of tech, phones, drives, laptops, seized. Those devices are now in a government lab. That means the private life of the Harvey family is officially out of their hands. The texts, the contacts, the money trails, and the calendars. If any of that mirrors what Michael B. Jordan is rumored to possess, then this is no longer a YouTube conspiracy. That turns into material evidence already being mapped out by investigators. If even a tiny thread connects them, this will not end with a public statement. It ends when the documents are unsealed in open court. Then it gets even more suspicious. A dozen documentaries have already exposed Diddy's world on Netflix, Hulu, and Peacock, yet every single one conveniently ignores the Harvey connection. That pattern is becoming impossible to miss. The editing is surgical. The footage cuts the moment certain names are mentioned. The screen goes black just as the Harvey link gets uncomfortable. It feels like a legal no-fly zone was established. You can literally see the censorship. The narrative is laid out, the raids are shown, the accusers cry. But the second the trail leads to Steve Harvey, the focus is yanked away. It happens too consistently to be a coincidence. The timing is too clean. So, the public has to ask, if there is nothing to hide, why does the media keep pulling the emergency brake at the same spot? That void is the loudest part of the story. The blueprint is established, the raids are broadcasted, archival footage is weaponized, and victims are vocal. But the moment the narrative pivots towards Steve Harvey, the cameras suddenly cut away. It is becoming too habitual to ignore. The synchronization is surgical. So, the masses are posing the obvious. If there is zero substance here, why does every media outlet hit the brakes at the exact same exit? That missing footage is the loudest part of the room once you spot it. Meanwhile, the heat around this entire operation is reaching a boiling point. Diddy is currently locked down. Federal agents are dismantling his digital life. Disgruntled staff are singing. High-profile associates are drafting statements. Collapses like this always force people to talk when the prison sentences get real. Loyalty has an expiration date when a plea deal is on the table. If just one individual from that inner sanctum decides to leak intel tied to the Harvey brand, the game ends instantly. Not through blog gossip, not through TikTok theories, but through sworn testimony in a courtroom where perjury has real teeth. That is a lethal level of transparency. At that stage, the speculation tag is stripped away. It becomes hard evidence. And once that is entered into the record, anyone who opted for silence will be interrogated by the public on that choice. Steve Harvey understands the danger. Michael B. Jordan understands it, too. And the millions watching this play out can feel the electricity in the air as they wait to see which wall crumbles first. So, where does the dust settle? Michael B. Jordan is whispered to be sitting on receipts that could vaporize Steve Harvey's reputation and expose Lori Harvey's secret alliances. And yet, he has remained ghost. Diddy is trapped in a cell facing a federal onslaught. And the longer he sits, the more reason there is for someone to start snitching. Steve Harvey has ignored the entire circus. Not the photo, not the rumors, not the intensifying theories. Now, the world is locked on all three, hunting for the first sign of weakness because this is not over. It is a high-stakes standoff. And positioned right in the crossfire is Michael B. Jordan, staying mute while standing at the absolute summit of Hollywood. Every day he refuses to testify. The tension ratchets up. The million-dollar question is not if the truth surfaces. It is about who pulls the trigger and when the impact hits. What is truly glaring is the void where a statement should be. The quiet around Steve Harvey is becoming a roar and the public is demanding to know why. Some are even questioning if massive industry muscle is being used to scrub the Harvey name from the headlines. That theory alone is enough to keep the views climbing. Now, let's rewind. Long before the Diddy empire crumbled, Steve Harvey already had baggage that looks a lot heavier when you stack it against current events. His second ex-wife, Mary Shackelford, slapped him with a $60 million lawsuit. The allegations in those papers were brutal. She claimed trauma and abuse that would ruin any other career. The case eventually died on technicalities, but those receipts are permanently etched into the public record. That isn't a rumor from a tabloid. That is a former spouse making formal, legal accusations in a court of law. Whether you believe her or not, the reality is this is not Steve Harvey's first time being accused of having a dark side, and that history rebrands his family man image today. So, the loop continues. Why is it that none of the blockbuster documentaries mention this? Why does every filmmaker walk on eggshells when they reach the Harvey chapter? Because when you step back, the contradictions are wild. A man who built a career on moral advice. A man caught at that dinner table with Diddy and Lori Harvey. A man with a trail of legal allegations from his past. On any other day, that is a journalist's dream. And yet, across every major streaming platform, it is treated like a forbidden subject. That is not a coincidence. That is a directive. It is the kind of silence that suggests a team of lawyers and power players made it very clear that certain names come with a price tag. That suspicion is only growing as people start connecting the dots. Now the chronology starts getting even more suspicious. In 2019, Diddy and Lori Harvey were a permanent fixture in the tabloids, jet-setting from Cabo to New York, Miami, and eventually that infamous family dinner in Italy with the Harveys. The buzz was relentless, and so were the whispers. When the internet started spiraling over a potential pregnancy, Lori Harvey's PR machine went into overdrive. She aggressively shut down engagement rumors and told followers to ignore the fake news. But notice the sleight of hand. The pregnancy speculation was never actually debunked. It was a classic strategic pivot. Kill the easy rumor to create the illusion of transparency while leaving the heavy questions unanswered. It effectively shifted the lens, the headlines cooled, and the story died. She re-emerged months later, rebranding herself as a mogul, acting as if that entire chapter had been deleted. But that strategy only works if the world stops digging. Right now, the shovels are out. The federal raids in March 2024 completely reset the stakes. Homeland Security stormed Diddy's estates in LA and Miami with helicopters circling and his sons in handcuffs. Every phone, hard drive, and server was seized. This points to a long-term investigation into things far darker than gossip. If Lori Harvey's name is buried in that data, and if there were toxic situations shielded from the public, Steve Harvey's pristine legacy is in the line of fire. A brand built on moral authority and family feud wisdom can't survive the fallout of what was really happening behind the curtain. Look at Lori Harvey's play since Diddy's arrest. She hasn't retreated, she's doubled down on visibility. Magazine covers and high-stakes brand deals. It looks like a desperate sprint to stay essential before the subpoenas start flying. But insiders say the real threat isn't a blog post, it's the official paper trail. If her name is on a manifest or in a decrypted message held by the feds, the narrative shifts from dating drama to legal evidence overnight. PR cannot spin a federal indictment. Now, bring it back to Michael B. Jordan. Even with the chaos surrounding the Harveys, he is still viewed as the man with the master key, texts, timelines, and potentially recordings of the truth. He's played the quiet professional, but that silence is becoming a heavy burden. There are too many ways this dam could burst. A co-conspirator flips, the feds release a discovery file, or a rogue journalist finally connects the dots everyone else is too scared to touch. At this stage, Michael B. Jordan might not even get to choose when the truth comes out. He just has to decide where he's standing when it does. So, what's the final score? It's a mess of unresolved lawsuits from Steve Harvey's ex-wife, documentaries that suspiciously edit out the Harvey name, and federal agents holding the receipts. We have a trial date that's looming and over 120 accusers coming for Diddy's neck. Michael B. Jordan is still the silent witness, Steve Harvey is still playing the ignore game, and Diddy is still behind bars. None of this is settled. If these rumors were baseless, they would have been buried with a cease and desist years ago. Instead, we get silence, and silence in this industry usually sounds like a confession. And then there's Michael B. Jordan. If this was just a private breakup, why does he look like a man carrying the weight of the world? That kind of energy doesn't go unnoticed. Silence only works in the dark. But the lights are coming on. So, what is the endgame? Does the federal case force the truth into the light? Does an insider finally break the NDA? Or does Michael B. Jordan decide he's done protecting a legacy that isn't his? Maybe Steve Harvey just keeps smiling for the cameras, selling advice, and hoping the storm misses his house. But right now, it feels like we're one leak away from total collapse. What do you think is the breaking point? Does the truth finally scream? Or does the Harvey influence keep this buried for good? Tell me what you really think in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Stay tuned, because the conversation is just getting started.